Kiwi Voice. Thanks for taking the time to tune in. We have got the man Brad Flutey up north there from digging Marsden, and obviously he's got his own thing going on with Horus Media as well. But we're here to talk about what the team at digging Marsden are doing and why. Thanks for joining us, Brad. Really appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us on Kiwi Voice.
Thanks, mate. Thanks. Joined today with Craig. He's an ex-senior operator at the refinery, and
Awesome.
our longest-serving warrior who's been here right from day one. He's been holding Spearhead down, Rob.
Awesome. Hey, guys, how are you? Good to have you on.
Good to be here, man. Awesome.
Excellent. Thanks heaps. All right, so we'll dive straight into it now. The general gist with these things here on Kiwi Voice is we do have a bit of a slow burn, so we might get 20 or 30 people on. I don't know in terms of the actual live, but we leave it up on the page permanently, and we generally get continued engagement and commenting in that afterwards. And if you've got active Facebook accounts, all three of you, I'd encourage you to get involved in the conversation later on if you get the chance to do so. And we've got a pretty cheery audience. So let's get into it. Tell us about digging Marsden. What is it and why does it exist? What are you doing?
So the digging at Marsden, we created it probably just over 90 days ago. We've been here outside the refinery at Spearhead for, I think this is the 82nd day. And
Right.
so we created it after the Wellington occupation. I used to be a member of the Social Credit Party, so I was informed as to the issues with the refinery closing down and us losing our fuel security. So I was actually hoping that everyone was going to shift on to focusing on what the next big issue that was coming, which was fuel prices. And we knew that the loss of our refining capabilities was going to be a big part of that, losing our ability to supply ourselves, losing our ability to have a diverse range of options to choose from in terms of getting refined fuel. Now we're at the mercy of a few large entities overseas.
Yeah, and obviously being at the bottom of the world in terms of importing absolutely everything, you know, in the current global environment, fragile global environment, I'd probably say, it's not a great place to be.
They're playing us in rugby.
Exactly. You've got it. You're exactly right on this. And regardless of what our PM is doing overseas, trying to push New Zealand's globalist ideal or her globalist ideals, you know, you're exactly right. We're just a tiny wee nation at the bottom of the earth. So what's been going on during this protest outside? Have you had good response? You know, what's a typical day look like outside the refinery?
Well, it's been pretty tough, bro.
Wet and rainy.
Wet, rainy, cold.
Yeah.
Rob would probably be best to explain that to you. He's been here the most.
Sure.
Well, we got a lot of things, operational stuff, daily routines we sort of keep to, get out on the road and up to roundabout, do some protesting, planning for the next period and next stages of where we're at the moment.
Okay.
And generally keeping spirits up in our team and doing some observing the plant and the operations as it's been shut down.
Yeah, the Spearhead's probably been the first watchtower for everybody. So a lot of people that they're coming in with comments like, concrete, the pipes being filled with concrete. I mean, you could talk on that, Craig. How much vital pipes have been filled with concrete?
Many pipes have been filled with concrete. I don't know who actually came up with that in the first place, but a lot of concrete.
Oh, so is that an accusation that's been thrown at you guys?
No, there was
somebody invented it somewhere.
Yeah, there was a claim that apparently came out of Winston Peters' office that there was some pipes being filled with concrete. The great thing about having Spearhead here is that everyone that's here is able to give the most up-to-date information. And even if we get it wrong, we still have people that we can call on to fact-check us, so to speak.
Yeah, so sorry, Spearhead's referenced a lot. Forgive my ignorance. What is Spearhead?
Spearhead's the main tent and the main array of cars that stay out the main gate of the refinery.
Got you.
The main service gate, isn't it? Yeah, the main service.
Oh, we're frozen. I'm hoping you'll come back.
Hold on 1 second, you guys.
That's all right. You just froze, but you're back.
Yeah, all right,
And-
let's go.
yeah.
It's sort of become a legend. It's 82 days outside the refinery, holding the line and watching.
Yep.
So we're sort of hoping that there was an agreement or word of an agreement that was thrown around that this was going to be able to be turned back into a refinery just in case something crazy happened overseas and we needed to start refining our own fuel again. So having Spearhead here to at least watch what's going on, watch what's leaving, make sure that that's even remotely true. But the reality is there's probably some information that we need to share in relation to what's going on in there, Craig.
I don't think there was any intention of mothballing, as everyone seems to consider.
Okay.
The whole intention was to shut it down and decommission it, which they have every intention of doing. They're well on their way. It's been written off as far as the running process goes. Whoops. A whole lot of write-offs in the last financial year that back that. Probably listed company. I'm not going to go through the numbers. You can look for myself. This has been. They're doing what they said they were going to do. They've turned it into a tank farm, and they're getting the plant to the position where they don't have to watch it, meaning that it's fully decommissioned and it's safe to turn you back on. They don't have the operational stuff anymore as a tank farm to monitor anything like pressures, temperatures. So the plant remains safe and
So I mean, look, I work in the energy industry, not fuel, but electricity. And I heard about this, when it was coming to shut down a long time ago, and when they were talking about it initially. Now, what's been given as the actual reason? Was it just not making money, like in terms of what they're saying, rather than the reality? Let's start there. Was it because it wasn't making money? Was it because of the political ideology around, the moving towards a greener future? What was it? What was the justification given for shutting this beast down?
they couldn't operate a refinery. They wanted to go to a tank farm.
Okay. So they just wanted to move to an import that would seem to be economically better, essentially?
Well, that was what they reckoned.
Yeah.
But it's certainly be making a shitload of money at the moment, though, wouldn't it?
Well, I'll mention this. It's over 18 months ago, the bitumen plant was shut down. There was money for jam. Your fuel prices were nowhere near the price they are now. You've got refineries all around the world closing, so your supply is being reduced. People are all running to EVs as if that's going to help. They're finding that batteries aren't lasting as long as they said they would last. And now fuel prices are $3.05 a litre if you're on diesel, and they're not far away from petrol. So everybody else can. I mean, I know correlation doesn't imply causation, but if you've got a lot of correlations, you should probably start asking questions.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And that's the thing. I mean, from where I sit, it certainly looks like a very strong push from the ideological side of things. So, greenifying New Zealand. Obviously, we've got the policy in place that's killed the new oil and gas exploration around New Zealand. There's still some permits to work through, but obviously there's no desire to invest in that. So, I mean, what's your guys? Obviously, your ideal outcome is to keep it open, but what do you see in front of you realistically as potentially what you're able to affect or what you'd like to see happen?
Well, for me, it doesn't make any sense for an island country that sits on a massive gas hub to switch to being solely reliant on importing resources that rely on rare earth metals that have to be mined from overseas. This country has never been for mining. It's been against mining more than it has been for oil and gas exploration. The difference between the EV sector and the big tech sector is that the oil and gas sector has been around for a very, very long time. Here in this country, 8 million hectares of our native forest sequesters about 140 million tonnes of CO2 per year, and our average release of CO2 is about 79.8 million tonnes. We now have technology that is trending towards sequestering our emissions and turning it into fuel again. I think that for this country, the best investment for us, if we wanted to be green and practical at the same time, was to invest in that technology, invest in waste-to-energy plants, and reinstate our refinery so we can be self-sufficient. If James Shaw wants this country to be self-sustainable and green, then going away from oil and gas is retarded.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and it's a real shame that a majority of the public will miss that sort of element. It's the ideology. I've used that word a number of times already in the interview. It's just so strong, and you're right around the EV side of things as well. Once you get 4 or 5 fast chargers in a residential street, the network's not going to be able to handle it. So, I mean, you've got issues right there, other than the trickle charges, etc. So, are you finding, public perception of what you guys are doing? Well, not so much what you guys are doing, but of the issue. I did watch one of your videos, Brad, where you had a marquee at some market somewhere, and you were basically just trying to raise awareness and just asking the question, do you think we should keep it open? And a large majority of the people had no idea, well, just didn't care one way or the other. But what are you finding out in the public, either outside the refinery itself or when you're out and about, in terms of reaction, public reaction?
We're finding on the roundabouts that the support is overwhelming. I think someone, I'm actually just looking on the fridge, 904 toots, was that per hour?
Nice.
Per hour.
Nice.
During peak hour. So that's huge. In terms of the amount of effort that people are willing to put in, they're for us. I think I would go out on the limb and say 90% of the country is behind not having high fuel prices. There is a small minority of people who would disagree, and then I would say there's a large proportion of the population who are uncomfortable with difficult conversations, and that's why the Prove Me Wrong campaign, it's not just about raising awareness, it's about trying to get Kiwis to be comfortable with difficult conversations, because I think that the political class has been making it difficult, or rather encouraging us to shy away from these difficult conversations where people might get offended by what you think. But the reality is that facts don't care about your feelings, and I want to live in a world that has a little bit more facts and is compassionate at the same time. I don't want one belief structure tucking on the mana of another belief structure. It's not going to help us.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you again on that. Actually, I spoke with Sarika this morning, and most other interviews that I've actually had with certain people on Kiwi Voice. The censorship is real. It's not just an overseas thing. It's happening in New Zealand. You're exactly right. That leads to a culture of people avoiding difficult conversations, and I see that day to day myself. It doesn't even have to be that difficult a conversation. So it's cool that you guys are pushing, Prove Me Wrong. That's the one. It's a really, really good idea. I really appreciate what you're doing with that. So what's the next steps? You're just going to stay strong, hold the line, as they say. What do you have you got plans for any other targeted action or anything like that? What's the go?
Yeah, so we're shifting full blown into an awareness campaign. We realise that if we can't get Kiwis to buy into getting their infrastructure reinstated, infrastructure is going to protect their future and their children's future in terms of energy independence and self-sufficiency, then we're just not going to get off the ground. So we need to get out there and amongst the public. We have a variety of strategies in which we're going to do that. We're hoping to build enough funds so we can go on a national tour, and where we present the issue and also the remedy. So it's not really just a protest. So we're going through the process of delivering something that's actually going to help us out of this hole we put ourselves in. We're going to do more fireside chats with operators like Craig here and get more of the factual information out there. We're going to do more Prove Me Wrongs in different towns. And we're going to try and combine the whole tour thing and all the different elements of raising awareness and encouraging Kiwis to get back into conversation. And then hopefully by then, once we've got enough Kiwis paying attention to us, then we can give them the remedy and help get these pieces of infrastructure back into our hands so we can make sure that this never happens again.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, look, obviously it's becoming a popular tactic for these, difficult conversations or conversations that have had pressure on them in terms of censorship, etc., is to get out and actually raise the awareness. So, look, I back you guys on that. I'll personally say that. I do back you, and I'll try and keep up when that sort of thing starts happening. We'll keep in touch anyway, but I'd like to keep up with what you guys are doing in terms of covering it and that as well. Now, looking at the security, the fuel security side of things, let's go to a slightly darker. I don't know. It's real. What's happening in the world at the moment? How critical do you think this is? You know, how soon are we going to see real? I mean, obviously we're seeing the prices at the pump, and part of that's what's going on with our import strategy. That's part of it, but there's obviously a lot of other crap going on within the oil companies and that themselves. Yeah, I mean, what's the? Sorry, I've just completely lost my train of thought. Where was I going with that? What's happening in the world at the moment? How critical do you think it is to have something change in the current situation with the refinery? You know, before we see something really affect us.
Yeah, I think it's pretty critical. I mean, the three waters thing is really important. We can't have governments stealing water infrastructure that we've already paid for. Water is life, but fuel is what fuels our equipment to produce food and help us get to A to B. It also helps us connect with one another so we can have these conversations, so we can figure out, you know, how do we solve these existential issues, and we can't solve them without lots of proper difficult conversations, and we can't have proper difficult conversations if we're constrained to doing this through digital. So we're going to need fuel to get to one another and connect eye to eye, kanawi ki te kanawi. So in the whole scheme of things, I think this issue is pretty important. It doesn't mean that I think any other issue is less important, but I think that we need to start focusing on issues at the correct time in the process, and if we can't overcome them, then we're going to be one step behind this whole agenda to drive us into the dirt.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess what I was saying more so, not so much comparing it to other issues, Brad. I was meaning more along the lines of, I know I lost my train of thought, but thinking of timing, you know, what's happening in the world and how it affects New Zealand, and, you know, how critical this stuff is going to be in the near, medium, long term. I guess, what do you see in the near future, or how important do you think it is in that global picture, and what potentially is happening to multiple democracies around the world?
Yeah, I just think it's another. Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
You've got to look at what happened back in the 80s, and that the reason we built it was because exactly of this reason we're in now. We had massive fuel shortages. We're back there again, and now we haven't got anything to fall back on. We're at the mercy of wherever we buy it from. We don't actually buy enough to really have much clout.
Yeah, do we have stockpiles or anything?
Sorry?
Do we have stockpiles? Does New Zealand have stockpiles?
Very small amounts of stockpiles.
Yep.
You can see them at every port. They're filled individually now. It used to all come to here, and then we ship around locally with our 2 tankers.
Got you.
Now we don't use it. It comes from wherever it's coming from, and then gets dropped in there. All I've got to do is say, no, we've got a shortage. We have an upset. We're not going to get it. And we've probably got a few weeks and it's all over. You'll realise just how much work.
Oh, we just lost you. Just frozen. We had a good run. Got a flickering light in the studio as well. Hopefully. Oh, there we go. We're back.
There's so much. There's so much more that the oil industry does for humans than just petrol and diesel. It's everywhere. It's plastics. It's cosmetics. It's pharmaceuticals. It's everywhere. You have no idea how much it's used. It's used in our fertilizers, as Brad just said. It's also used in some of the products that come off. They use for storing foods like CO2s. And everything like that. There's more to it than just what turns up the pump.
100%.
Completely's not going to be able to keep up with the demand for captured CO2. and we're already seeing that now. Not even close. Never did.
Yeah, manufacturing, packaging, and all that as well, right?
Yes, that's what I meant with storage.
Yeah.
But they're already apparently they're going to be reworking some of the wells down Taranaki Way, obviously because of this demand. The short-sightedness of getting rid of a fuel supply without actually having something else is kind of nuts to me. It's not very well.
Seems nuts to me too. Yeah.
Well, look at it this way. If you're in the electrical industry and you've already seen it, and they've already been telling us about electrical shortages, they're not supplying fuel to cars yet.
Yeah.
Houses already. So
yeah,
I guess it's going to live in the dark while we charge our cars.
Well, the thing is, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. The thing is, it takes years from land purchase to consent to build, whether a wind farm, solar farm, or whatever it may be. Hydro's never going to happen in New Zealand again, I don't think, sadly.
The most reliable one we've got because it works all the time.
Yes, 100%. But it's not. It's too hard to get through the RMA. It's just too hard, and too much opposition. Environmental groups, etc., as well. So, a lot of hydro, small and medium and large, have been stymied because of red tape in New Zealand, unfortunately. So, yeah, it's a bit of a sad situation in that regard. And you're right.
But they still need diesel to run the generators.
Yeah,
and electric. I think the way technology is moving at the moment, electric cars will be perfect now. Maybe the next 18 months, 5 years, and then something else better will come along.
Hydrogen or something, maybe?
They're banging on about hydrogen. Sure, we can convert our own cars to that. We don't have to pull a new one to get rid of the old one.
Yes.
Because let's be honest, nobody's going to get rid of their diesel burning ute and tow their boat to the beach with their electric car.
Doesn't have a spare.
Yeah. Well, you might get it there, then you've got to wait 9 hours to charge it and then come back.
Yeah. Those electric cars spare tyres.
Yeah. For multiple reasons as well, not just the electricity side of things. I think a lot of diesel ute drivers or truck drivers wouldn't be excited about driving an electric car just for the frickin' rep.
I don't think Sam Semenoff's one of their trucking companies up there. I don't think he's very happy with how things are going. Hey, how about Sam?
Nice. Hey, the other question I wanted to ask you guys, do you, I don't know if you have any knowledge on this at all, but the war in Ukraine and Russia, it's been used as a blame target, multiple countries around the world for the crap that's happening. How much of an effect does that have on our oil supply, do you know? Is it significant?
Well, actually, I think China's buying Russian oil, so we're probably burning it now.
That was sharp.
Then perhaps if they can buy enough of it into the market, it might actually drop the price.
That was sharp. I appreciated that.
Yeah, we love Craig. Refinery, no good joke.
Yeah,
that is true.
Onto it. Yeah, no, because my hearing was it was 13% of the world supply or something along that, some number that was similar to that. So it's a futile blame target when it comes to the government complaining about why. That was and I just wanted to see if you had any knowledge of that, whether that was the case. So,
It makes a good headline, but we've had oil prices higher than this before and never had.
Oh, pressing again. Sure, we'll come back.
Finding.
Yeah, I don't like to get involved in international short streets.
Yeah, you do politics somewhere else. The practicality is, I don't think the Russian oil, it's black, burns the same as everything else. Nobody really cares. To be honest, we're probably on it now. Honestly,
100%. Awesome. All right. Well, that's probably all we need, I think. Team, is there anything that you wanted to go into other than, in terms of my questions, etc.? We've gotten pretty close. It's 25 minutes. It's flying by already. Well, yep, go for it. Get into it.
To help, Brad mentioned It's gone secure NZ refinery.
Actually, it's secure Marsden refinery.nz.
And sign the online petition.
Sure.
The online petition is pretty good because although the court's probably not going to be something that can help us all that much, it is going to be a good way to get us some awareness. And
yes.
So a representative action suit that investigates channel infrastructure for financial mismanagement, I think that'll turn a lot of heads. So if we can get 30,000 signatures through that website, securemarsdenrefinery.nz, that'd be awesome.
Okay. I'm totally keen.
Get to the point.
Hashtag get to the point as well.
Hashtag get to the point. Get to the point. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yep, that took me a second to click. All right. Cool. So, sorry, what's secure Marsden? Nice. Secure Marsden refinery.co.nz or sorry,
just .nz.
Oh, .nz. Because I'm gonna chuck that up in the description of the live once it's posted, of course.
OTO's up here.
Yeah. Sweet. Make sure we get that right. Absolutely. And if I cock it up, then just message me, Brad, and I'll fix it.
That's right, brother.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, well, it's been really cool meeting you guys. Really appreciate the work that you're putting in up there for sure. I've never been up that far. Actually, no, I lie. I went up to the top, right up Northland once when I worked at Coca-Cola many years ago for a sales conference. But I'd love to get back up there. I understand it's totally beautiful, and I really appreciate Kiwis such as yourselves standing for what you believe in. And it's for, it is for the good of the country. I don't see how it isn't. So awesome, guys. Awesome to meet you. And we'll keep in touch and we'll keep covering this thing, eh?
Awesome. Thanks, brother.
Cool, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Cool to meet you. Now I'm going to try and figure out how to get off this. I'm still struggling.
You got this.
Thank you, mate. Oh, that's part of it. All right.